Oh, okay. All right. Hey, there it is.
Child care center.
Yeah, no problem. I think she'd be perfect.
Well,
Hey,
sure.
she is, all right.
You can vote for me.
We need more women on this town.
Future council, right there.
Watch out, Mayor, 2025.
Yeah, that's right. 18 months from now, it's all I want. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a beautiful, beautiful day. Only in the city of Coast Point. If everybody rise and please recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councilmember Wood. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Conrad Wilbur.
Here.
Councilmember Ritchie.
Here.
Mayor Carroll.
Here.
Councilmember Donovan.
Here.
Councilmember Soroka.
Here.
Councilmember Galuli.
Here. Item number 3, reading and consideration of the minutes of the regular meeting and closed session held on April 8, 2024. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes? See none, they are approved as submitted. Item number 4, top item of the day, promotion ceremony for Lieutenant Frank Zelinski and Sergeant Veronica Cashin. Director instructions.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I want to say thank you once again for allowing us to present our promotional ceremony this evening. Before I call the officers up front, just want to speak a little bit about the process itself. Having done it a few times myself, in the last 3 decades, I can attest to the fact that it's very challenging. Public safety promotional process is intensive. It consists of a written exam requiring months of study, encompassing subjects such as police and fire command, state law, budgeting, staffing, fire science, public relations, morale, discipline, and leadership style, among others. If an officer is fortunate enough to pass the exam, the candidate is interviewed by a panel of chiefs from outside of the Grosse Pointes and Harper Woods. The interview includes a timed introduction by each officer, requiring a great deal of preparation, as well as legal questions and hypothetical scenarios, which can take the discussion in many directions based upon the quality of the officer's answers. If this phase of the process is passed, the officer receives promotional ratings from each supervisor within our department, and the scores from all 3 phases comprise the final score. With that being said, Veronica Cashin, will you please step forward? Veronica is here with her husband tonight, Jim, who is a Detroit police lieutenant. Veronica came to the department in 2012 with previous experience at both the Detroit Police Department and Harper Woods Police Department. As a PSO, she earned a Community Service Award for her Shop with a Cop program, raising money and coordinating officers from various departments to shop with underprivileged families for gifts at Christmas time. Veronica was struck by a vehicle in 2017 while walking out of her gym. She suffered debilitating injuries which required shoulder surgery, staples in her head, and extensive damage to her neck, spine, and pelvis. The extent of the injuries prevented her from returning to work, and she was forced to leave in 2018. In 2019, she asked if she could return as a part-time dispatcher while continuing her rehabilitation with the ultimate goal of returning as a PSO. With a lot of hard work and support from her husband, Veronica was rehired as a public safety officer in 2021 and became an FTO, field training officer, responsible for training new public safety officers. We recognize Veronica's promotion to the rank of public safety sergeant this evening, as well as being one of the best comeback stories we have seen in our profession. Veronica's husband, Jim, is here to present her with her new badge. Just give it some time.
You've done this before.
Sure.
Frank Zelinski. Frank is here tonight with his wife Rita and daughter Fiona. Frank came to the department in 2000. Previous experience at both the Hamtramck Police Department and Wayne County Jail. During the course of his career, Frank has earned several citations and commendations, as well as serving as Special Response Team Commander, FTO Unit Supervisor, Bike Officer, and Vehicle Maintenance Officer, and I'm sure I left out a few accolades. Frank was promoted to Sergeant in 2019, and tonight we recognize his promotion to the rank of Public Safety Lieutenant. Frank's wife and daughter will present with this new badge. Concludes our promotional ceremony, and I thank you once again for allowing us.
Congratulations. Item 5, consideration of request from administration to approve a contract to complete the Pier Park pickleball court, say that 5 times fast. Project, Pier Park pickleball project. Teresa.
Yes, this evening, we distributed the results from bids that were received last Friday for the addition of 4 pickleball courts at Pier Park and resurfacing of the 2 tennis courts in accordance with the site plan that was approved by City Council late last year. We received 2 bids despite really lobbying for more bids and contacting a lot of contractors and posting on the state website. And as noted by Councilman Wood earlier, there was a huge variation in the bid amounts. However, we reviewed the bid amounts and discussed it with our consulting firm of Chris and Los Angeles. And we feel confident that Best Asphalt Inc. Has met the bid requirements, and therefore we're recommending award of that contract to Best Asphalt Inc. at a total amount of $262,225.
Any questions from council? Like,
Shane, what is the anticipated construction date or finish date? And things change, but what's
Sure, yeah, we actually will plan on having a pre-construction meeting this week. So we want them to get started as early as they can. The time specification, the specifications, completion date is, I believe it's June 26th. So it'll be completed prior to the 4th of July weekend. Again, we're optimistic if things go well. It could be sooner than that. If weather is an issue, it could be later than that. But I think it's a realistic schedule, and we believe we'll be able to do that.
any other questions from council? Any questions from the public? Seeing none, public comment is closed. I will entertain a motion on this item.
The motion is to approve the recommendation from the Parks and Recreation Department to contract with Best Asphalt Inc. for the Pier Park pickleball courts. Yeah, it is hard to say. Pier Park pickleball courts project at a total of $262,225. It is understood that the Grosse Point Farms Foundation has committed $100,000 to award this project.
Support. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you. Item 6, consideration of a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of general obligation unlimited tax refunding bonds, series 2024. Tim, I think that's you.
Thank you. So our 2017 judgment bonds are callable beginning October 1st of 2024. So the city worked with Northland Securities to explore if that makes sense to see if we refund those bonds to save some money for the city. I do have Mike Norman here from Northland Securities. I'd like him to speak a little bit on some of the fluctuations in the market the past week and where we're at now.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, appreciate the opportunity to be here. I believe Tim put a handout in front of each of you, a summary page. I'll try not to kill you with all the small numbers, but really hit the high notes. So as Tim had said, your 2017 bonds are callable on October 1, 2024. And so the 2025 to 2032 maturities are callable at any time after that date. But 90 days prior to that call date, you can close a refunding bond issue. It's known as a current refunding. So that's why I wanted to get Tim in the loop about a month ago when the market was strong and the rates were there. So we put down together an analysis for you in the middle box there. And March 7th, when I contacted Tim, originally the savings were net present value savings. Let's focus on that line item, third from the bottom. It's $125,000. That is a net to the city, net of any costs of doing the transaction, et cetera. It's about 4.43% of the present value of the bonds that we're refunding. The industry standard to do municipal refundings is 3%. So we were above that. The market has since backed off, as you can tell, on March 20th. We slipped a little. We went down to about 3.65%. Then over the past couple of weeks, some economic news has come out. Employment rates are higher, inflation, whether the Fed's going to do anything in June. So we know right now we're below the 3% threshold that's in this as a minimum savings parameter. And we wanted that in there. The best thing you can do tonight is position yourself. You're not committing yourself, but you're really positioning yourself to move forward with the refunding. And then we would keep Tim and Shane informed weekly on where the market's at and what's happening. When things start to move in your favor, we would then put the full court press on and move forward. I know there's a resolution in front of you, prepared by Dickinson Wright. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have on the numbers or the refinancing. The market, we're just gonna have to monitor week by week.
So the request is to get approval from the council that when the number is over 3%, to give the city the authority to act based on our resolution.
That would be correct.
Any questions from council?
Yeah, I guess that, maybe you can't, in our handout, it says the refunding bonds will mature in October of 2032 with a total savings on the cash basis of $137,869. Is that gonna fluctuate? Is that a number that's gonna fluctuate, or is that the number that's gonna be our savings due to the refinance?
As you can see, that number has fluctuated. So that was March 7th. Then we went to March 20th, the column right next to it. Then we went to current rates today. So the market has moved against you, unfortunately, with economic news coming out. So we know we want to hit at least at a minimum based upon this resolution of 3%, which would get us somewhere around the March 20th numbers, where we were about 3.65% or about $114,000 in net gross savings.
Just kudos to the staff. This, I think, shows how vigilant Tim and Shane are in terms of saving the city money whenever possible. This is just a simple refinance, basically, of some bonds, but I have to say congratulations to our staff for bringing this to us, for helping us save money wherever we possibly can. That just helps us keep our taxes down. So Tim, thanks. Shane, thanks.
I want to say credit to Mr. Gormley, because he actually brought it to our attention as well. He's been watching our bonds and our maturity dates, and so he's actively been monitoring it, so we appreciate that.
A good partnership.
My pleasure.
Yes.
I didn't know if I missed it, but what's the drop dead date?
There is no drop dead date. Once the resolution is adopted, we're gonna monitor the market. I've put deals on the back burner for 6 to 9 months and come back to them when the market's there. So it's just a matter of you approving this tonight, putting yourself in a position, then we're gonna monitor the market to make sure that the savings are there. It's about a 4 to 6 week process from start to finish. Because we're gonna have to prepare an official statement, obviously get the city's AAA rating updated again, and get into the market. And we want to make sure that we're above that threshold before we start that work.
Thank you.
Thank you for this analysis, I appreciate it.
Sure.
So let me make sure that I understand this right. If you get to a 3%, does that mean, did you go ahead and refinance?
That would be the 3% minimum.
All right,
So that right now, based upon the resolution, you would not move forward with a transaction that produced net present value savings of below 3%. So that is the minimum floor. We're obviously hoping to get closer to where we were in the 20th or even the 7th.
right.
But yes, and it's just gonna be a matter of monitoring the market, but that is the floor.
Thank you.
I know the standard is 3%. Would there be any, what would be the downside of establishing the minimum at 3.5 rather than 3?
There really wouldn't.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a little bigger threshold to meet, given the market. We may have to sit on the sidelines a little longer, but what we'd have to do is tell bond counsel if that was changed, to change that in the resolution that's ultimately signed by the clerk, to change that from 3% to 3.5%, if that's the council's wishes. But it could be done. It's just gonna make it a little bit, a little bit more difficult given market conditions. But it's not to say that it can't be done.
Anybody else? Escape from New York. Any questions from the public on this? Seeing no questions from the public, anyone want to make a motion? Yours?
I move to approve the resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of general obligation unlimited tax refunding
as contained within our packet this evening of April 8, 2024.
Support.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tim, thank you.
Good night.
And feel free to wait till 3 minutes. Unofficially. Do I have a motion to adjourn as a city council and to convene as a board of zoning appeals?
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now convening as a board of zoning appeals, item 7A. Consideration of a request for a dimensional variance for 117 Mapleton Road. Is the applicant here? Pontos, take the podium and give us your name and address, please.
Hello.
Sorry.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Dr. Theodore Pentos. I'm a resident of Grosse Point Farms since 1967. For my wife and I bought our first home at 45 Warner Road, Grosse Point Farms, Michigan. Since 2013, I'm the owner of the home at 117 Maple Street and the home across the street at 124 Maple. The other 17 Mapleton home was built in 1924. It's a 2-floor, 1,300 square foot, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath plus basement home. The 3 bedrooms and full bathroom are located on the 2nd floor. The kitchen, living room, and the dining room are on the 1st floor, 5 feet above ground. The dining room exits through a glass sliding door onto a same level above ground porch. The home has a 2-car detached garage. I request a variance to make the house more suitable for the handicapped or senior citizens and more energy efficient as follows. Add a bedroom on the 1st floor over the existing back porch area and add a rent loading to leading to the front porch area plus convert the detached 2-car garage to an attached garage. We ask a variance to increase the 1st floor bedroom area by 2 feet to the south. The other 2 feet will make easier for transportation and emergency medical personnel like an ambulance and caregivers to adequately care for the handicapped or senior citizens, so to be big enough for adequately taking care of a senior citizen that cannot climb the stairs upstairs. So this will be a senior and handicapped citizens friendly addition to the house. With a relatively small additional money, we spread an additional room above the described bedroom to be used as a library and an office space for people who have work and do work out of their house. The previous tenant was such a tenant, Mr. Joy, who stayed there for 3 or 4 years and adequately carried on his from home work and thus not take any of the bedrooms that are there already. We have seen the enclosed drawings. We have drawings showing such an addition. With a relatively small additional money, we wish that an additional room above, as I described above. Now, the new addition will be well and decrease energy use in comparison to the energy wasting present sliding door, glass door leading to the existing porch. We'll additionally have energy, but we will additionally save energy by adding 47R insulation to the new roof attic Class N will be insulate the new first floor bedroom that will eliminate the energy wasting sliding resin glass door opening into the back porch. The house is not inhabited during the last 4 months, and the thermostat is kept at 50 degrees. There are no lights turned on inside the house. The monthly electric bill during the last 4 months varies between $113 and $125 per month, and the monthly gas bill during the same period of time varies between $205 and $275 per month charge. We intend to, what we like to do is, we have a 2-story building that is there since 1924. It's the same height as the building next door. We like to uniformly extend the existing structure and thus be able not only to add 47R insulation to the new structure, but also to the old structure, so that we can save energy for the 1,300 square foot building and make it more desirable and energy efficient, as well as much better, easily used by potential tenants, whether they're old or they're young. And that's what I like to request. We're not changing the form of the building. It's the same height as the building to the east of us. The buildings on the across the street, most of them are 2-story buildings. We're going to keep a 2-story building that is built in 1924, and we want to continue. Then a uniform structure than having 2-tier roof. This will be much easier to save energy and keep uniformity in the area. And that's all I want to say.
Any questions for Dr. Pentos?
Dr. Pentos, good evening, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. In the application papers that were sent to you, it was asked that you meet and consult with your neighbors that are represented, and in your packet, it indicated that there was no opposition to the project, and that was adopted in part by our city engineer. We have since received a letter from several residents in opposition to the project, but most important to me was an indication that despite what you said in your papers, you had not made an attempt to contact anybody to see whether or not there was opposition. Could you please describe if you did reach out to any neighbors and what the result was, please?
I'm 93 years old. I get head surgery at University of Michigan. I'm wearing this. I have a bedridden wife for the last 4 years. That I'm the midnight shift, and I couldn't get out. Unfortunately, I can still. If you see my handwriting is very poor because I'm trying to write with this hand. So I was not able at the age of 93 to reach out to all these people. I cannot climb the stairways. I'm afraid of falling and breaking a hip. That is disastrous for me. That's the only reason I didn't contact any of the people.
Fair enough. Thank you, doctor, very much, sir.
But if I have to, I will. If necessary, I will reach out because I intend to be a good neighbor. I have 4 homes already within a half-a-mile area, and I want the area to be kept uniform. I'm as interested as everybody else to have a nice area to live in, and we're living there since 1967. We want to die there, and we want to be there. At the age of 93, I couldn't do that. I'm sorry.
Well,
I
that's
wish I was 10 years younger.
Have you, me too. Have you happened to see a copy of the letter submitted by several residents of
I was
Mapleton?
not aware that there was so much opposition. I'm surprised that there's such opposition, because especially if everybody has a 2-story home. similar size, similar height, and all of a sudden, these are people. I have not been able to do any of these people. I have not been able to see any of these people because of what I said. I cannot counsel. If I have to, I'll go around and ask them, but I couldn't.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I have no further questions, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much, sir. Lab, you have some questions?
Dr. Pinto?
Yes.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for being here. One of the things that this board needs to inquire about are
I'm sorry, I have a hearing problem. You are doing fine, but speak louder, please, one word at a time, I have no problem there.
We are required to seek alternatives to the variance request or to minimize the variance itself. Right now, you are asking for a sizable rear yard setback variance. And according to the report that was done by our consultant McKenna, did you have a chance to read that report?
I haven't had a chance to, I didn't get any report at all. As I said, I've been, followed the Bureau of Michigan, had several visits there. I'm having one on the 10th. I'm still wearing my cast. I had cancer, serious cancer with breast and so on. So I've been able to do any of these things.
Well, one alternative
Yes,
to the current request would be to remove the attachment that you have here that's shown on your drawing. And what that would mean would be that we would have a substantially lower request, a less request in terms of footage than what is currently being proposed.
now,
Can I ask you, why are you attaching the garage to the proposed construction?
the reason is this. When you have seniors in my home, I have identical situation where the garage is attached to an open space. It's a 5-foot wide area where I can walk in with groceries without getting wet when it's raining. And it does not alter the appearance of the house or doesn't alter anything that is basically, let's say, not acceptable.
So is this a doorway?
And
Is this a door?
it's a door from the garage to the kitchen door, exactly like this. From the garage to the kitchen door, that's facing the driveway.
All right. Well, that means you're asking for a very substantial,
Well, we can avoid that if necessary. We don't have to have that. I'm asking for that. Is it possible? If not, that's fine too.
are you saying that you're willing to detach the two structures?
We can keep the garage as it is.
Yes.
That's fine.
So you'd have the garage the way it is,
Yes,
then you'd have if I understand this properly, then you'd have the two-story
yes,
construction on top of the current deck, right?
Yes.
It would extend out a little bit.
yeah, that's all.
And that's the reason why we're being asked to also give you a variance of 5% for the lot coverage. Because the building that you're building is just going to be a little bit over the area that you've got right now for your deck. Is that right?
Well, 2 feet I want, but if you not, see, the reason I say 2 feet is because I know in my house, if we had enough room, we can better take care of my bedroom and wife. Then it's by 2 feet wider. Also, it's easier for the ambulance to move around and put someone on the stretcher and ship them out through the ramp that I intend to create in the front porch, thus making it easy for a senior disabled person like my wife,
Okay.
they will be taken out by ambulance to the hospital in a quick manner.
Okay, so I'd like to stop there, and I'd like council to consider what we think about removing this doorway, which effectively connects these two.
We don't have to connect the garage.
Well, I'm kind of talking to my council, just asking folks to see what they think about that, because then that would reduce the amount of setback that we have to approve tonight. If we do not remove if we keep this doorway here, this attachment, we're approving a great deal more setback. So I'm gonna stop and just say, Louis, that's it for me, and then anybody wants to weigh in.
Questions?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Dr. Pantos, thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate you being here. I drove by this and I understand your constraints as far as meeting maybe with your neighbors or in taking a look at what options you might have, rather than asking for variance that our consultants, which we have reviewed every variance request here before this council, has stated is substantial. And you do have some neighbors that feel the same thing. I'm wondering if you could go back and with some help from your designer, the BC Design Company, or whoever drafted some of these, and to try to work with our city to try to take a look at, here are some different ways that you can minimize the substantial status of this variance while still trying to appease some of the necessities that you've asked for.
I'm willing to do that. All I want is to get a bedroom for the reason I said, for people who are disabled, like my wife. And believe me, it has been a great help to be on the main floor, that we converted a room on the main floor for that purpose.
And
Our bedroom is on the second floor. We have also a lift going up, but
Dr. Pantos, I fully recognize that necessity, and I sympathize with you for that need. However, this is not your primary residence in Grosse Pointe, is it not? Do you rent this facility
we
out?
are renting it, but also we like to rent it, of course, yes. But we do want to get it senior and disabled people's friendly by getting a bedroom on the main floor. This way we'll make it, plus also by so doing, we're saving energy. This glass, entire glass wall facing the porch right now is creating a big issue as far as energy consumption is concerned for this particular house. It makes it difficult.
All right, thank you. I have no other questions.
Joe?
Thank you, Dr. Miles, for coming. I personally have a lot of issues with the design. Mapleton is one of the streets that the lots are very small. The traffic is horrible, the parking is bad. And you're talking about taking a 3-bedroom house, if I'm reading this correctly, and basically making it into a 5-bedroom house.
No, I want a library.
No, it says in your deals.
I like to take it up back because library is the thing that I want. I want to have it first floor, but it's not because.
But the print shows 4 bedrooms upstairs
we
and
can
2
change.
living rooms downstairs, which is really a 5th bedroom downstairs. And also you have basically a full bath upstairs for 4 bedrooms, and you have a half bath downstairs. Now, everybody wants a first floor master in Grosse Pointe Farms, it's very desirable. But without having a full bath downstairs for shower, bathing, or
I
whatever,
would put one in.
but,
I would put one in, yes.
well, it's not in the plans, we have to go by what's on the plans.
I can definitely, with my wife, with that, later at home, but definitely we can put the bathroom downstairs.
Okay, I can only go by what's on the plans. And I myself, I'm not for this proposal at all, in any shape or form. Thank you.
Can we change that, so we have a chance to change it?
Any questions on this side before?
I just have a question. So you're speaking of aging in place, correct? You're speaking of this renovation for possibly aging in place.
I'm
Do you
sorry.
have, I'm sorry, aging in place, because you had mentioned the master plan?
Yeah,
in your-
bedroom downstairs.
Yes, sir.
The other, yeah.
Right. So do you have a tenant in mind, or do you plan to move there yourself?
No, well, at the age of 93, very difficult for me to move,
Okay.
and my wife.
So you're speaking of
I
a
have-
future,
I have in mind someone else to move there.
you do have some,
I have someone in mind, yes.
okay. And there,
We need a bedroom on the main floor.
okay,
Yes, I want to have someone there to help us out. You understand, we need help. My assistant and main caregiver, my wife, retired every second of this month. So I'm looking for a third person and put them, the family. In fact, I think I have a family that's going to move in rent-free. So I can come and help my wife. More important to help my wife than anything else. And I'd be willing to change all the plans that are there, which conform with all the rules and regulations. Thus, I'm willing to do whatever you want to be able to do that. I have a family already in mind, because I do need a third person. In case something happens to me, I need a midnight shift. And that midnight shift will be the new family who will stay there rent-free. That I have in mind. And money doesn't mean anything when it comes to my wife and myself. I'm not going to take it with me. And I want to be helped. And I have to try to revise any of these plans. I'll be willing to do so. In fact, I would like very much to put a bathroom down the main floor, so it can be used. The only thing is, if you try to get an ambulance in a hurry and have a very close quarters, it's very difficult. If someone were to come to take my place, might be, we have another person coming because one of the caregivers for 4 years has been with us retired. And I have a family that's interested. And that's what I'm going to do, and have him stay there for free, so he can help me and my wife if I get not be able to help her anymore. I'm in the midnight shift. Right now, as soon as I go home, Lucia is going home and I'm taking over till 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And I haven't been out of the house for 4 years. And I have someone driving me. I have someone driving me here tonight. I don't drive, I have a license, but I don't drive, I have someone else drive.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I know you'll invite the public to comment. If I may, can I put through you, the city attorney on the spot, so to speak?
Absolutely.
As to whether or not if there's any evidence on the record of a practical difficulty. And number two, whether or not we're speaking of some type of speculative condition in the future for which a variance might not be appropriate, given the alleged dimension of the house or the bedroom being for a senior citizen. The story seems to be moving a little bit.
Well, let me ask this. Doctor, would you be willing to put this off for at least 1 month?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and we would help arrange a meeting with the residents where you could meet perhaps even here with our administration and offer to invite your neighbors so they could at least raise some issues that they have, and maybe you could change the design to address their concerns and some of the concerns you heard here from the zoning board. And then maybe come back to us with a change of plans
to see how you could maybe fit into what we need to be done. Would that be acceptable to you?
Do that, because it's impossible for me to be running around. I tell you, when I bought this house, I was so active. Everybody was wondering how active I was. I can tell you even now, I'm exercising every day. Since I retired in 2002, I'm exercising every day, and I manage my real estate in 6 different states. I still make decisions, good decisions, but I'm still working. Started working at the age of 9, I'm still working at the age of 93. I'll never retire. It keeps the mind going. Right this morning, I exercised a new step that I bought for my wife for 60 minutes. 2.5 miles. I have a treadmill on the basement, which I used 1 hour to 2 hours every day since I retired. Since my wife got sick, I got a new step on the second floor, on the main floor for my wife, which she never used, but I used it this morning for 60 minutes.
So doctor, let's do this.
Pardon?
Let's do this. Matt from our city will reach out to you. It's his department. He'll
Yes,
reach out to you and your builder,
yes,
and then we'll reach out to the neighbors who wrote the letter, and perhaps we'll reach out to more on the block.
yes, thank
And
you.
we'll try to set something up in the next few weeks, the next 2 weeks, so you can meet with them, with your architect, and we can go through some of this. Is that fair enough?
Yes, fair enough.
Okay,
And I
So-
can talk to them really here. I can talk to them and tell them what I need, because I need another caregiver, especially if I can no longer provide my services.
all right, so perfect.
Overnight.
So, you willing to then adjourn this, so
Definitely.
next month? All right,
Definitely.
so, do we need a motion or to, yes or no? For the zoning board? Yes, I think.
You're
we
not
do.
gonna need a motion,
I
I
think we
think
do.
the question I have, Mr. Mayor, is, because I know that there are a few people.
Yeah, we want to hear some
who wanna
comments,
hear
right, yes.
comments before you.
Because they're here, yes, that's fine. So doctor, let's do me a favor, sit down for a few moments.
Yes,
We have some of your neighbors who took the time to come here tonight. So
okay,
so you'll be able to hear them directly, but so you can hear some of the issues they have.
okay,
And then when you get together, we can invite them and talk about greater what you might want to do with this building.
and I'm going to revise the thing so we
Okay.
can make it
Perfect.
possible. I
Right,
need
perfect,
some help,
right, perfect.
and
All right,
I'll give it for free, I provide that free.
All right, have a seat for a second, doctor, and we'll hear, the board will hear some from your neighbors.
Okay,
All right, thank you. All right, who would like to speak on behalf of neighbors? Come on up. What's your name and address?
Hi, my name is Stephanie Tyler, and I live at 121 Nicholson, right next door to 117 Nicholson. Thank you for allowing us to speak tonight. I would like to share my main concerns with the variance request for 117 Mapleton. I would argue that the city guidelines states that a variance should not substantially interfere with or injure the rights of persons whose property is affected by the proposed variance. I would argue that the addition would substantially interfere with my property on Mapleton, given the unique circumstances of the properties on the lot that some of you mentioned. Approving variances like this does have an outsized impact on the adjacent properties, given the small size of the lots on Mapleton. I know he said most of the houses are 2 stories. My house right next door is actually 1 story. My first concern is around flooding. I'm concerned about the additional increase of impervious surfaces, which will meaningfully limit the space for stormwater absorption. The neighbors on the north side of 117 Mapleton have experienced flooding both in their basements and in their backyards. When it rains, my backyard does flood, and last summer I had a basement flood that was over $5,000 in damages. My second concern is around privacy and sunlight. I don't know if you can pull up the Google image that we sent through, or do you guys have it in your packet? So the addition is right outside my door because my house actually faces sideways. So I'm looking at 117 Mapleton outside of my house. And if you look at that Google image, you can see that the houses right behind my property are up against the, so I'd be surrounded basically on all sides. In addition, one of the reasons that I purchased my house is because of the abundant sunlight. If you come by, there's big bay windows in the side that faces the street, and then there's a bunch of windows on the side that face 117 Mapleton. And with the addition, I'm concerned about the impact to light. I'm also a gardener and concerned about the impact to the backyard. I wanted to make one additional comment. I'm not sure how this works, but if you look at the plans that were submitted, it talks about the first floor accessible space, and there actually isn't a bedroom that's called out on the first floor. And as you guys already called out, there's not a full bathroom that would support somebody living on the first floor. Both omissions seems to call into question the stated purpose of the addition. Overall, the variance request will have a direct negative impact on my property, and I hope that you'll uphold the intention of the zoning guidelines and deny the request.
Any other neighbors want to talk? Come on up. Name and address, please.
Mike Weber. Julie Weber at 129 Mapleton. We lived there for approximately 16 years, and I just wanted to say I've never met the doctor before. This is nothing personal. It's just based on behavioral observations. But our concerns really are about the maintenance of the property. There's multiple trip hazards. We walk morning and night. We walk morning and night, and there's been numerous occasions where there's been landscaping, timbers, plastic thrown across the walking sidewalk from the property. That I've done my best, to kind of do some maintenance there. The yard grows sometimes a foot tall. We take a lot of pride in our properties there. It is a unique neighborhood that has a lot of different structures, whether they're 1 story, 2 stories. And it's, again, it's nothing personal. Everybody has their choice to live the way they like, but this has become a hazard. I haven't seen anybody living there for close to a year. There's already construction materials in the driveway, and so it's basically an eyesore that is not being taken care of. And when I heard that it wanted to be expanded, like, if you can't take care of this size of property, what are we going to expect from even more maintenance and work to be done? So I empathize with his needs for senior living, and we'd all like that, but small neighborhoods only have so much, that you can do to that. So we like our neighbors, we get along with everybody. We hope to keep it that way, and we're open to a lot of diversity. And I'm just concerned about seeing this new development and what that could turn into. So we'd be more than willing to have a collegial conversation in the future.
You just answered my questions, okay? Good, John. I appreciate your comments, and I would echo some of them that I forgot to raise. The lot is not clean tonight. There's a trip hazard across the sidewalk. I walk up and down your good street as a former resident of Mapleton, from the lake to American House just about every evening. There's a ton of construction, things readying something for construction in the back driveway right now. There's litter on the front lawn. It's not being taken care of. I'm sure Dr. Pontos will clean that up. So, we'll tell you that. Anybody else? Name and address, please.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Miles Macy. My husband, Thomas DePaul, and I own the home at 123 Mapleton, right next door to Stephanie, 2 doors down from 117. I was speaking on our behalf today. Thomas is with us as well. I would like to reiterate the importance of drainage to a plan that takes up roughly 200 more square feet of permeable landscape. In the years that we have lived here, there has been a history of flooding on the block. We've put in backyard drainage where the runoff from our home and along with a large trench drain that runs the length of our backyard, drains 8 feet from the front of our home. We still get spots of water rising in our basement, even though we have a sump pump
and flooding from our backyard that runs through our garage down the driveway several times a year in heavy rains. There is no drainage in the plans at 117 Mapleton, nor do the plans mention a change of grade to the property. I hope that the board will take this into consideration when making your decision, and I'd like to thank you all for your time.
And likewise, same question. If we put a meeting together, are you guys going to?
Absolutely, I'll show that.
Sure,
Right, so gentlemen, thanks very much for coming, appreciate it. Just wanted to clarify what you had said. You'd indicated that the proposal would be another 200 square feet of impervious surface. It's my understanding, correct me if I've misunderstood this, but my understanding is that this proposed construction is going to be on top of the current existing deck. Now, is a deck impervious surface or not?
It is a raised deck. I think potentially it could be impervious surface as it goes through the deck and then through the ground.
No,
It's a wooden deck with slabs.
it would be, because you said 200 square feet, there's already a deck there that exists right now. I would call that impervious surface. So really what we're being asked to do is just add 5% more lot coverage, which I guess would be less than 200 square feet. My point is that one thing is going to go on top of the other. And it strikes me that, the existing deck is already impervious.
Yeah,
I mean, that might be a debatable thing, but it strikes me that that's what that is.
Yeah, it could be impervious, less so impervious than perhaps a slab of concrete.
And that would be.
Or more so.
Thanks. All right, thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? All right, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn this until next month. Now, can then, not in the motion, but then Matt will set something up with the neighbors who sent us a letter, and anybody else you want to invite. And Dr. Pantos and your builder, and we'll get in touch with you, doctor, to set something up, okay? Good? All right. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to adjourn the motion, the request for dimensional variance for 1 month for 117 Mapleton.
So that meeting is May 20th. Yes. So we have a second. I can do this without roll call. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. May 20th, we'll hear from our team before that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
But honest to God for your wife. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn as a board of zoning appeals and to reconvene as city council?
So moved.
Support. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Reconvene as the city council. Item 8, consent agenda. Does anybody want any of the items A, B, C, or D withdrawn from the consent agenda for individual consideration? Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 9, reports. You have the public safety report and the annual planning report. Mr. Reside, other business.
Just remind everyone, Arbor Day is this month, on April 26th. And the city really is doing a little bit more this year. I think in light of the tree loss that we had last July with the storm that came through here. We followed up last year, we planted about 100 public trees within right of ways. But also planned this month, the Beautification Commission is going to be holding a spring seminar on tree selection and maintenance. And that's going to be held at the Pier Park on April 23rd at 7 p.m. Brian Palter, who's our city forester, will be present, and I think it will provide a lot of good information. On top of that, for the first time ever, the city is going to actually have a tree sale on April 25th. And what we've done is we've worked through with some volunteer residents, and we will be buying trees wholesale and making them available for pickup on April 25th. So individuals who are interested in purchasing the tree will be I can fill out an order form online and drop off that order form in the Dropbox at City Hall. We think it's a good promotion and hopefully people take advantage of that. I should mention that the trees are not guaranteed, but they come from a reputable nursery and we hope to have a good response.
Thank you for articulating the fine print out loud.
I do. 2 years from now, I don't know if you come back and say the tree's not alive.
So do I know you buy a tree? Anything else?
Nothing else.
Anything from council, from other business? Or to the park? Anybody in the public have other business? All right, seeing none, the meeting is adjourned. Enjoying the weather. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Glad we all survived the eclipse.
Thank you.